Good day. If you would like to listen to a 40-year-old grown adult drone on for about 10 minutes, maybe more, maybe less, drone on about a free skate that is adapted to an aggressive skate that you can also use as a big wheel skate that's not, it's UFS, but it's kind of not. They call it the UFR, and it's also Anthony Pottier's, or Anthony Pottier, Anthony, his pro skate. It says it right here. This is the logo, AP, on this strap. You've come to the right place. So this is the FR UFR AP, and they definitely should have had more letters in that title. You could call it the Pottier skate. I call it the UFR. I don't call it the FR UFR. I might call it the UFR Pottier, but I think I've just been calling it the UFR skate. I've done a previous video about why I was excited to try this skate. The two main reasons: I have a history with this shell that I skated the larger version of this shell in Big Wheels 1, and then when the Intuition Minor was invented, I was able to skate the 42 shell, which is what this shell is. And this shell is exactly the size shell that I'm hoping for them to make. It's like a perfect 9.5. It's wide here. It's a good fitting shell. And now, so I've tried these anti-rocker with wish frames, with the flat frame for aggressive. I've tried them with 100 mil wizards. I've tried them with 90 millimeter wizards. I said 100 millimeter wizards. The 100 wizards, the 90 wizards, the 5-wheel wizards. Now, what is the verdict? 1, not a fan of this skate for aggressive. The skate works as an aggressive skate, but it feels like what it is, and that's a free skate adapted to be an aggressive skate. I was never really super intense about ride height for frames, and I'm still not, but ride height for sole plates is it's weird, especially when there's no extra bolts or anything attaching this. They felt so bad for anti-rocker that I stopped skating them. The wish session was pretty good. Something about being able to get a lot of support here, like that I'm used to 80 mils on this skate in the Big Wheels days. Sorry. I lost my train of thought. Yes, 80 mils. The wish felt good because I was used to being kind of higher off the ground. The weird part about this is that this sole plate mixed with this frame, that's almost like 80 millimeters off the ground. The feel is just off for aggressive, but you could use them for aggressive. Okay? I'm not saying they're bad. I just wouldn't recommend them. I can tell you what you could use them for is a lower end, cheaper wizard boot. Not for 100 millimeter wizards. For the 5-wheel, so the PR80 or the PR76, and I really liked the way these felt with the NR90 wizard frames. That's probably, if I skate these more, it'll be the NR90s. It could be because of the history that I've had with them, that they felt like a familiar, like big wheel. Is like Big Wheels 1, I was in the size 43. With the Intuition Aqua. Big Wheels 2, I was in the official Intuition skate liner in the 42 shell. And now if there was ever a Big Wheels 3, you could make it in this with the NR90. But there are some drawbacks all around. One drawback, just quickly for aggressive, outside of there not being extra mount points for the sole, the factory or somebody messed up that this Royale groove, somebody pointed out in a picture. They were like, is that Royale groove forward? And it actually is. This Royale groove is too far forward this way, and it's almost backwards when you look at the skate. It's worn in a little bit now, but when you get these brand new, it's so bizarre to have a Royale groove more forward this way and then pointing that way. It must have been a factory thing where it was almost like they reversed the design. It's hard to explain, but it's like if this groove was flipped, it would be going the right way. That was one drawback on aggressive. The shape of the sole and the block, the material of the block and the material of the sole plate, amazing material, but really high off the ground. One quick point before I go into what's good and bad. For overall, you could see that like with this sole plate in the footage of the last edit I put up, this flex is really weird. Like the way that this bends, the way that all of these layers of height interact, really bad. And it's a reason why the Aeon 80s are so awesome, that you don't have to worry about any of this. But this sole material is way better than Aeon's. That's one plus. Now, the fit was good. The feel is good. You can get this cuff really tight. I do find it's a little bit wider of a boot. So if you have a wider foot, or a thinner foot, if a wider foot will fit good, but if you have a thinner foot like me who fits well perfectly in an M12, you might get a little bit of wiggle. The 995 Intuition Premium feels perfect, fits perfect in here. This with the Wizard 90s is amazing. The feel the first couple times I skated these was way off, and then I realized there was this cushy footbed thing that I ripped out. But then the problem when you rip it out, there's these kind of like an M12, there's those square spaces, and you have to fill them in. Like you rip the foam out, but then there's these weird little shapes that you have to fill in the footbed. Something about the 909 that's really good is it has a dog's barking, just put up with it. The 909 has a really smooth interior, so there's nothing to poke into your foot or nothing weird the liner will dip into. When I skated without these foam plugs, I could feel the liner dipping into these holes. And it's a really kind of cheap feeling foam, and the way the base is, I guess it has to be like that for the UFR though. They missed a huge opportunity to just make this flat, like a flat, stiff base, like an actual UFS aggressive skate. But I think you don't want to take too much of a risk to make an aggressive skate at this point in time. So I almost would recommend, if you get this, get the 90 mil version with that slightly rocker FR frame, with either the FR Intuition, which I haven't tried, or get the stock version and then get a Intuition Premium, because the sizing can be confusing. If there's a way that you can go into a shop and take the stock liner out and put your foot in, you'll figure out what Intuition Premium you would want. But I guess a lot of people don't have that luxury. What else? I tried putting the ratchet strap on, and I found it to just be kind of annoying. This instep strap works really well. It's positioned in a good spot, so actually you can crank it really, really, really tight. I forgot, kind of similar to them's, that you might have to relace, like if you get your laces up really tight and then do this up tight and this up tight, these laces, because of how wide this is, can get loose. You'll have to relace. So the laces don't work amazing because the shell it's like a stiffer material, which is a good thing actually. Think of like with them's how you can, them's are great because they're so flexy, but this is why they work well for Wizard, is that this is all very stiff. This cuff isn't as stiff as that plastic, but you can get it done up nice and tight. Always love, there's almost a little bit of toe point on the back of the cuff. What else? Yeah, it's a lower end free skate that can be converted to aggressive. That is also a big wheel skate, and I would recommend it as a 90 millimeter or PR 80 or PR 76 introductory boot, I would say get the big wheel version and then get the plates after the fact if you want to experiment. I can see some people rocking this boot because of the fit and feel and enjoying it, but I didn't find myself craving skating it. The other thing is if the version goes on sale with the flat frame, get that, because I do, surprisingly, I do really like this frame. Not exactly on this boot, but I did have a good time. It surprised me. So if these go on sale, you could get the flat frame for really cheap, and then upgrade or get like Wizard NR90s for it. But so my final verdict: not good for aggressive. Had fun with Wish. Horrible for anti-rocker. Had a little bit of fun with this setup. Didn't work with NR100s. You could do it, but it wasn't great. Way too high off the ground. But would recommend this boot paired with the Intuition for NR90s and NR76 and PR80, or any of the Wizard imitation frames, Wizard inspired frames, should I say, that are out there on the market. I would love to see FR make an actual higher end UFS skate that could be used for big wheel and aggressive. But I understand them being tentative and doing kind of like a lower cost adapted version of a skate. Missed opportunity, hints at something better. If you can get them for really cheap, they're worth messing around with. That's all. If I missed anything though, you can ask questions. I think I covered everything. Keep skating or something. FR UFR AP JOEY MEBYE.